Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
Hi, guys. Hi. Hi.
You know, Bros, Brews in the basement,
Yep.
because I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm going to confuse the order.
Yeah.
We should have thought of a shorter name.
BB&TB. That's the my abbreviation for it.
BB&TB. Because that's simpler.
Yep. TB. We'll get to that.
Inside joke.
I wish to be a part of one someday. But anyways, yeah, guys, welcome back to our podcast here, Bros, Brews in the Basement, where me and Dylan just shoot the shit about pretty much anything and everything while we drink. So
Yes. Episode Trey.
Yep.
Oh, no, it's the other way.
Tres
There you go.
Canciones. 3 count.
But thank you for coming.
We appreciate you clicking in and checking it out.
Absolutely. I guess we'll get started right away with our beer of the week.
Whoop, whoop.
So we got Atomic Citrus Voodoo Ranger.
Love Voodoo Ranger.
Yes.
Probably one of my favorites.
From New Belgium. I just had to look to make sure I wasn't going to say something wrong. Oh, man. Voodoo Ranger Atomic Citrus from New Belgium. I just looked them up before you hit record. They started in Colorado.
Really? Wow.
Which I didn't know.
Cool.
And apparently they have a couple other locations. I saw San Francisco, and there's another one that I already forgot. So
Colorado's doing things
wealth
right.
of information here. But this is a blood orange ale. So I'm not sure what to expect. Never had it. This also, when I picked it up off the shelf, it's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this one before either.
They just also came out with I think, a 1985 IPA. Eric said, "Don't waste your time." So I
That
did it.
bad, huh? Just terrible.
I don't. You know how
It's
Eric
all
gets
subjective,
sometimes.
but you know.
Yeah, sometimes he's just like, "Oh, it's the worst," and then it's not. But again, personal taste, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So we
let's
got
get this
7%, right? Alcohol, 7%.
going. Yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Pretty cool can.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know I had texted you before separately about the artwork and how it kind of reminds me of something that you would see in Fallout.
Yeah. So the can is it's a skeleton wearing armor.
Yeah, it's like literally like nuclear armor. It's almost like Mad Max, like
And he's got
apocalypse-esque.
he's got orange sunglasses with what looks like orange slices for the
Yeah.
eyes.
Yep. Cool.
And what kind of hat is that? What is that called?
I don't actually know what that's called, but that's like I just affiliate it with Russia. and like winter time being cold and
Yeah.
I have no idea what it's called. I mean, I've definitely like seen it before, but I don't. I've definitely
and
like seen the name.
he's got headphones on and an
I like the color.
orange.
Of this.
I was gonna say orange mohawk, green mohawk. Okay,
I'm
I
digging
see.
it.
It looks a little blood orangey in the
Yeah.
pour.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have said that though specifically had I not.
No,
Be
I only took that.
preconditioned to that
yes,
knowledge.
I took that from the box.
Yeah, I would have been
was-
like, "Hey, it looks like beer." Just
That
you
was
know.
not expert analysis, I promise. You're probably not going to get any of that here.
We're experts. Don't let them fool you. We know all. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fill these. All right. Well, I got a little left over, but that's okay. I could top it off.
Yeah.
Nice head on that beer. Looking good. Can't wait to try it.
I'm going to let it settle.
Yeah, right. Just a little bit, right? Uh-oh. I shouldn't have
Oh,
touched
no.
it. I shouldn't have touched it.
You did say before that you can't touch that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the mic stands don't sit very well on the pool table here because it's not quite flush.
Shocking, I know.
I know, right? Everything's improvised in this basement. Maybe you have the same issues.
I mean, that's what owning a house is,
Right?
improvising
At all times.
at all times. At all times.
Unless you're like, filthy rich, in which case maybe not.
Which we aren't.
Yeah, as you can tell.
But help us get there by listening.
please subscribe to the channel and help us continue to grow. You know, we're always looking to build our community and everything. You could go down that rabbit hole with us. We also do music reacts, game reviews, movie reviews, and all that kind of stuff as well. So, I mean, we do that with Steve and Kim.
My wife.
Yeah, Omar's been on there a couple times. We like to have different guests on. There's still plenty more people that we haven't had that's a part of, you know, BU, but eventually we'll get there.
All right, what do you say? We dive in?
Yeah, let's cheers and
cheers.
If you have yourself a drink out there, cheers. Ooh. Wow.
That's very good.
Smooth.
So I thought it was going to be like super citrusy.
It's really not,
like
though.
Orange juice
you can
citrusy.
You can definitely taste like the orange, though.
You can.
Or citrus, right?
But it's not overwhelming, which I was a little concerned about. That it might be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like beers nowadays, especially like the IPAs and the citruses, a lot of them try to get that super bitter taste for IPAs, or they just overdo it on the citrus. And I could just drink orange juice and put vodka in it if I really want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want like an overly like fruity, like flavorful kind of mix. This seems good though. I mean, it doesn't really feel that heavy either.
No, and it's 7%. And I guess I'm, you know, when I see 7%.
Yeah, it feels really light too. I don't know why. Maybe it's just.
Yeah. Like a 7% IPA, I know what that's going to taste like almost always because they're all very similar, I feel. But this is very different.
And now it's topped off. That's
Atomic
good.
Citrus packs a seriously refreshing citrus punch, brewed with blood orange and clocking in at 7% ABV. You can sport this six-pack
Alcohol by
poolside.
volume?
Yes.
Alcohol by vibrations, obviously, for musicians.
Yeah, and I guess this is meant to be like a summer thing since they're.
I mean, it definitely tastes summery, like because probably it's so light.
Right.
Hey, look, we have a new follower.
Oh, cool.
Pennsylvania 6, New York City. I don't know, but thank you for the follow on Insta. Yeah, if you haven't followed us yet on Instagram, everything's going to be in the description for you. You know, you can follow us on IG there. You can follow the Basement Universe channel where we do the music reacts and all that gaming stuff as well. I'll put all the socials down there. And if you don't want to watch, you know, us talk and drink and everything, you can listen to us on pretty much
Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music.
Yes.
There's one other one, I'm pretty sure, but
there might be.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
However,
right now,
you should want to watch us, though. We're such beautiful-looking gentlemen.
I know, right?
I mean, look at us.
We could be in
Killers.
average. We could be in dodgeball for Average Joe's gym, right? Like we're quality material. For
I work out
the
like
5Ds.
an average Joe, so that's wonderful. And by work out, I mean I run once a year, maybe.
He runs so he could drink beer. That was
the tank top I used to have. I don't think it made the move from my last living location to my current.
It's a great tank top, though. Nonetheless,
I have to look. Maybe it did. I might have given it away. I don't fucking know.
It was stellar.
No.
But anyways, let's get back to the beer here real quick, and I guess we'll do our rating, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? I'll let you go first this time. I went first last time, so 1 to 10, right? 1 being the worst, 10 being
1 to 10.
Your favorite beer, or the
I
best
guess
beer?
10 would be the best beer.
Right. It's hard to say, right?
I don't know, because it's not bad. It's a good beer. I would say it's a good beer.
I mean, this is probably seasonal as well, right?
Does it say?
I don't know if it says.
It doesn't say seasonal. I wouldn't doubt if they market it all year.
Yeah.
But, like, really push it in summertime, obviously.
Okay.
Especially up in New York where we have a winter. I'd give it a 7.
Okay. That's pretty good.
I like it better than the Barn Rocker that we did last time.
Okay.
And I believe I gave that a 6.5.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not. Citruses aren't my favorite types of beer in general. but it is probably one of the better citruses I've had. So I'd give it a 7. It's a solid beer. I would drink it again. Absolutely would drink it if it was at a party. Wouldn't be my first choice, and definitely not my first Voodoo Ranger choice.
Yeah, Juicy Haze. At least,
Juicy Haze IPA.
Yeah, it's
Love
definitely
it.
my favorite Voodoo Ranger one, but this is honestly definitely way up there for me now. So you're going to 7.
7.
I mean, that seems pretty fair. I mean, I definitely agree with you on saying that this is better than the Barn Rocker. It almost makes me think now, like, should I have put the Barn Rocker lower on the totem pole?
So
right? It's like,
that's one of the things is I'm worried if I give a beer that is, well, I'm not worried. Relax. I'm just
all
thinking.
the beer aficionados are like, oh my God, this guy gave it a 6. That's trash beer.
If I give a beer that I like, an 8.5, and then I have 30 other beers that are better, what am I going to have, 39s?
I know.
So
right?
I don't want to. I might be underrating this while being concerned that I'm going to overrate the beer.
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, it's like I only have so much room between 7 and 10.
Yeah. I mean, and thinking about that too, it's like I feel like a 7's probably appropriate because it is better than Barn Rocker, that's for sure, in my mind. And it's definitely not as good as Juicy Haze for me. Juicy Haze is probably like my number 1. I mean, that's like a bold leap to make. But I know I said like in the last video, probably like Sam Adams is my go-to. But like if I'm gonna grab one, it's probably gonna be Juicy Haze. Like I'll go out of my way for that. So this one, I'd probably say like a 7.
Okay.
If not being more generous than a 7.5, but I think I'm gonna stick with a 7, just for the sake of the future beer ratings.
Which, keep in mind, 7 is good.
Right? I mean,
right? Like,
for most things, like
remember,
a 6.
If you're in medical school and you get a 70, you're still a doctor. So that means this is a good beer.
It passes. Barn Rocker did not pass, but this passed.
No, Barn Rocker had to go to the Caribbean.
It's not licensed in New York.
Yes.
But yeah, this is definitely a solid one for sure.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
I would stick with 7.
Couldn't
I
help
would stick
myself.
with 7, for sure. Solid beer, Voodoo Ranger Atomic Citrus. Go check it out. And if you have checked it out, let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, please let us know. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Feel free to be super honest. We know you're going to be, no matter what, in the comment section. Because
are we wrong about the rating?
Yeah,
Tell us why.
I don't think so, but please, let us know. We've already gotten plenty of those honest feedbacks for the music reviews, so why not be honest here on the podcast?
Everyone loves those. That's why they subscribe.
So what's new, Dill? I mean, I know we've definitely hung out since I've been on vacation the past 2 weeks. We've hit up the brewery twice.
Yes.
Right, two different breweries.
Yes. Six Harbors, which is here.
Yep, right in Huntington.
And that other one that's in East Northport, which name is still slipping. Sand City. There you go.
I was going to say Sand City.
I don't know why I can't fucking remember that for some reason. Whenever I talk to Kim, I'm like, hey, let's go to the brewery in East Northport.
There's no
and
sand
like,
to be had there.
Sand City?
Yeah, there's no sand to be had.
No. Let's see. What's new? I've been trying to work on getting my exterior spigot at my house relocated, and in the process ripped off the one that was working already because, I don't know, life happens.
That's pretty much,
Ripped it off, had to shut the water off at the shut-off valve on the inside, so I didn't have water going to my backyard. So whenever I wanted to bring water to the back, I had to connect 3 hoses and run it from the front of my house to the back of my house.
That sucks.
So, and of course, the pipe that we had to replace was through the foundation. So thankfully, my dad was able to help me out. We got the pipe out, put a new pipe in, put a new spigot on, and then I was able to figure out how I was going to relocate it. But that wasn't until I spent like $200 on parts, and I used none of them except for the original spigot that I had first bought and 1 foot of PEX piping, and I bought 20 feet of that. So I have 19 feet of PEX pipe under my deck, as well as like 6 to 8 different other plumbing parts that I might never use.
Hey, but
So,
in case something ever does happen for whatever reason, right?
I'm sure I won't be able to use them anyway. But tough lesson learned.
Let's hope for the best.
But lesson learned nonetheless. Let's see. What else happened? I made a doctor's appointment, which sucks. I hate going to the doctor. But Kim's been asking me for like, I don't know, a year to make a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, I think I'm overdue for my physical as well.
So I finally called and made an appointment today. It took like 2 minutes and was painless to make, but now I have to go to the doctor.
It's an inconvenience, right?
In
You could be
August.
doing other stuff, like fixing that spigot or like playing...
Or breaking it again.
Or breaking it again, doing housework, playing video games, whatever.
Oh,
Because obviously
yeah.
video games are more important than the doctor. I mean, let's
Right.
weigh our priorities here,
right.
Or golfing,
Yeah.
right? Like you could go golfing.
I mean, I get a lot of walking in,
So,
drink a lot of beer,
but...
so it evens out. But no, I've been good. Yeah, I'm just living life, working. Summer seems like it's going to be a usual summer at work where so many people are off and it's just going to be hell on earth. But
Pretty much, especially
that's
now
summer. Everyone takes off during summer, and you're entitled to your time. So please take off. But oh man, we're gonna have 3 people out at once for like a solid 2.5 weeks. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, no doubt. I was going to say, and especially I imagine things are going to be like way more crowded now, especially since it's like really the first time that everything's mostly relaxed from COVID restrictions,
Yeah.
right? So like now I feel like everybody's going to be out and about, and of course like my antivirus software just had to pop up at that moment. Not that you guys saw that, but it was really annoying for us. But yeah, like I would imagine, I've been on my 2-week vacation now, and it's felt like, a godsend, because I pretty much worked almost like 2 years straight without like a vacation, just because of sometimes like for me, it feels so impossible at my job to get off, to actually like put in the request, because you have to do it within like a certain time frame. You have to do it like 3 months ahead. Like I don't know if your job is that like intense about when you need to put your vacation time or whatever in, but it's just so that to me that just seems crazy. So, and we're already so short-staffed in healthcare as it is. Like I always hear it's everywhere, but it always feels like it's the worst at your own job, right? So like for me, it feels horrible.
Yeah.
So it always feels like I'm never gonna get it. So like I worked those 2 years, and you get so like burnt out and like tired at a certain point that like just even the thought of putting it in seems like a fucking giant hurdle to me. Or like I get so burnt out where I'm just like I just get in like the zone of just doing the same thing, like come home, like play video games, like work out or do whatever, and then I just don't do that. And I really need to like put in for more personal time and like vacations, because like if you don't use it, you lose it. So it's like what am I doing? It's like I'm just killing myself for nothing, really.
Yeah. I mean, the way my job works is twice a year they do what's called seniority-based PTO. And that, so it'll come out and it'll be from like the 2nd to the 15th of whatever month they do it. And seniority-based PTO is over a 6-month period. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You put in for it. If someone with more seniority puts in for a day that you put in for, they get it.
Makes sense, right?
And then after that period, you can put in for days as, you need it. The only thing that sucks is we are such a small department that they only let one person off at a time, which makes sense because we are small. So when one person's off, that factors in for maybe another person calls out sick. And then when we're 2 people short, we're fucked.
Yeah,
basically.
you're really screwed,
we're fucked.
right?
So there are a couple of people on the days that I work, sorry about that. Just had to burp. There are a couple
all
of
good.
people on the days that I work, and they're more senior than me, and I'm a supervisor, so I accrue less PTO than non-supervisors,
Huh.
For reasons.
But do you get do you get more
Yeah,
vacation
I
time? Or?
get my sick time doesn't count as my time off.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Well, I mean, that's
Whereas
good.
if
I was
someone
gonna
else
say.
calls out sick, it gets taken from their bank.
Okay.
Um,
Well, there you go.
but
That's at least something.
the two of them, one of them is off at least every Sunday, and one of them takes almost every holiday. And I'm not blaming them. You take your time. You earned it. You have seniority. Take it. It just sucks when it's like, all right, well, there's a holiday coming up. One I would like to be off for. Did anyone else take it? Oh, yeah, someone did. So now everyone else is working. And that's one of the downfalls of being in such a tiny department. But so the time off is, a lot more miss than hit.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to know that it's not just me, but obviously, for you, it's a different reason, right? Obviously, you're in a bigger, position of, a supervisor, so it's kind of more difficult to.
Yeah, and because they only allow one person off, there are times where people call out sick when they need the day for whatever reason,
Yeah.
whether they're actually sick or not. They call out sick because they need the day, but someone else took it.
Exactly.
And then, small department.
We've
two
all been
people
there.
Off, we're screwed.
Yeah, we've all
Same as
been
you.
there. Yeah, I was gonna say, and it sucks. But yeah, it's been good though having the 2-week vacation. Honestly, I think from here on out though, 2 weeks sounds nice, right? And it is. And last time I did a 2-week vacation, it after the first week, I was just like, maybe I should have just taken a week. You know what I mean? Because you kind of if you don't have a routine that you do, or you're not working on any projects or anything, or it can feel a little bit well, what am I doing? You know what I mean? It's I could have just taken a week. But I think if I could figure out a strategy for just a week here, a week there, maybe every 8 months, if I could just take a week, that'd be stellar. A lot of people like to go places, right? But I've always been just kind of a staycation kind of person, just to kind of recalibrate myself, and because like I said, you get so burnt out after a while, and for me at least, waking up early, trying to figure out a time to work out. And this is all stuff that I've had to work on, because when you're burnt out, you don't have the motivation to work out. Right. You don't have the motivation to get up early, make food for the day and stuff like that. It just leads to all these other bad decisions, or at least in my experience, that's what's happened to me. So I feel it helps me really recalibrate. I don't need to go somewhere, but it would be nice.
Yeah.
But it is nice just to take a week to kind of just refocus yourself.
Have you still woken up early on your vacation, or have you tried to sleep later?
So the first week, right? I usually get up every day at 5:30, right? That's my normal, when I'm going to work. I get up so I can eat or make coffee. That's really the most important thing for me. And I started stretching out and doing I lay on an acupressure mat to kind of just really loosen myself up for work, especially
the back.
Yeah,
with your
especially
job.
the back, because I was
you need the back in good shape.
Yeah, I was really having issues with my lower back at one point, and stretching every day, and obviously targeting it and looking up different stretches and exercises that I could do really helped. And I've been doing it for I would say probably 2 months now, that and the acupressure mat, and I feel so much better. I don't have any pain at all.
That's good.
Yeah, and at one point I was out for a week because I had hurt my back, working short, having 15 people to 17 people to take care of, which is really an impossible amount. But that's besides
shitty.
The point. Getting back to the question that you asked though, so the first week I kind of slept in, but I was staying up later. And now this week, starting Monday, I kind of started to slowly get myself up earlier. So I was getting up at 8:30, 9 o'clock, which is really late for people like you and me, and most people that have to get up early, at 5. So now like today and from Monday I've been getting up at like 7:30. So I'm kind of like
Right.
easing my way back into it, and I
Ready
think like
for that first day.
yeah, because like so if I have an alarm set every day, and sometimes I forget to turn it off. So like it'll still wake me
Yeah.
up at 5:30, and then I'll be like, do I want to get up to really try to get back into the groove? And I'm just like, you know what, not yet. So probably like the next couple days I'll get up at like 5:30 just to kind of start to get in the groove of things, because honestly the older you get, and you never think it when you're younger, it's harder to do things like that, and it really just feels overwhelming. So like jumping like straight back into work like that, and that mode, that routine is just so difficult.
Yeah. When I recently went from working overnights to working days. What is it? It's 3 months ago now, March. So my last overnight, I got home 7:15 in the morning. I stayed up. So I stayed up until probably 8 o'clock at night. So at that point, I had been up 30 hours or so. Went to sleep. And my first week on days, I was doing great. Up at 5:30 in the morning, made myself breakfast, sat on the couch, had a coffee. I was great. The start of the second week was daylight savings.
Oh, dude, daylight savings is a
So
killer.
then daylight savings comes, clocks move an hour. That fucked me up so bad. So like literally, and I remember going into it being like, it's 1 fucking hour.
What's the big deal?
What's the
But
big deal?
It is a big deal when you wake up.
Holy shit! I woke up that morning. That morning, I woke up and I was like, nope. Alarm went off 5:42 in the morning, and it's only 5:42 because I had an existing alarm and I didn't want to make another. Alarm goes off 5:42 in the morning, and I was like, fuck you, and waking up. And I went back to sleep, and I woke up at 6:20. I usually would leave my house at 6:30, but what I started doing on Sundays is I've been leaving 6:40 on Sundays.
Oh, you're really milking it.
On Sundays, because no one else is on the road. What fucking assholes work on Sundays? Me.
Just me. Yeah. Just us.
So on Sundays I leave at 6:40, but holy shit, that first fucking week with daylight savings, that beat the shit out of me. If it wasn't for the first day of daylight savings being a Sunday, I would have been late. I 100% would have been late because I just wasn't getting up. But to add to what you said, when I'm on vacation, and I don't really take vacation, me and Kim were off the same days. So, if we want to go somewhere for a couple days, we could just do it. We don't have to take any time.
Yeah, it's not like,
which is
exactly.
nice.
That's good, though. I wish I had something more, steady like that, where it's like work a couple days, be off a couple days.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So, like, we'll do, like, a, Wednesday to Saturday somewhere, because there are some weeks I only work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's my full week. So, but when I take a full week, and I don't remember the last time I took a full week, I think it was, oh, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. That was February.
Oh.
What am I talking about?
That's not that long ago.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was,
That's a goddamn lifetime
2 years
ago.
No,
Yeah, what
I
are you,
forgot.
me?
We went to Florida, and I took whatchamacallit, the weekend of the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day.
Oh,
We were
okay.
in Florida. We did Valentine's Day in Disney World, and we did the Super Bowl at Kim's dad's house, which was sick because I got to drink beer with my father-in-law, and we got to watch
That's cool.
football and just shit talk.
I mean, this guy got to drink beers with Triple H. No.
Yeah. Yeah. A look-alike, at least.
It's his doppelganger, No, I mean, that's cool, though. What's funny is, so off camera, before we started this, and we were like kind of just setting up, we were talking about one of our buddies, and our buddy Tim, and I was telling him, like, oh, I'm on vacation still, and he was like, oh yeah, I forgot you said that. And then I had said to him, a bunch of stuff like, oh, I've just been kind of shooting the shit, like I was already saying, and he was just like, oh yeah, he's like, I mean, me personally, he's like, I like to go like somewhere when I go on vacation. So he's like, if you save up enough time, you should really like go somewhere, like go to Japan, go to, wherever for that matter.
He would
And
say Japan.
yeah, I know. I mean, come on.
He would
know?
say Japan. Come on, Timmy.
So predictable.
You don't listen to this anyway.
And if you do, please comment. I'd love to start a fight. But he said that, and I was just like, oh, originally I was thinking about going to Colorado to visit Koki, like on my vacation. And
What's up, Koki?
Hey, buddy. I know.
Not sure you listen to this either.
I'm sure Koki will message me and be like, yo, bro, what the fuck? Because he's
2 weeks off, you didn't go fucking visit him? What the fuck?
Yeah, he's like, fucking loser, you son of a bitch. I can't wait to curb stomp you out here in Colorado.
Bring Timmy in. He'll throw him down the stairs.
But yeah, because Koki's always he's one of our longtime friends that he was a part of BU here, like, one of the OGs, and then he moved out to Colorado, and he's been trying to get us pretty much at it seems like every turn when we're talking in our group chats to get us to come out to Colorado. And I promise you, man, I will come out to Colorado at some point. Like, it just wasn't this time, especially considering like when I was about to go on vacation, that's when the air quality stuff started to happen.
Yeah.
And like flights were getting canceled. And,
Thank you, Canada.
Yeah, thanks, Canada, you fuck. Blame Canada. Go watch the short.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. But yeah, so I was like, you know what? I don't want to have to deal with that. I'm not. I don't really travel a lot as it is, but like, it's not really an issue. Like, I'll do it if I really want to. But I'll get out there eventually, Koki. But I had told him that, and he was just like, yeah, you should definitely, like, at some point go, though, like, on a real vacation as opposed to a staycation.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's interesting. When I take taking my time from work, I feel like I would want to do a decent amount of relaxing, too.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Because when I took the week in February, we did we did a Thursday to Thursday, so that means I either took Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but we made sure to come home early Thursday so I could have Thursday, Friday. Oh yeah, I did. I took Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so we came home early Thursday, and I had Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to like relax, recharge.
It's so important. It really is, because traveling is tiring.
Yeah, it is. I mean, me and Kim, we travel a decent amount, I would say, especially the last 2 years, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Since you could travel, since traveling became normal again with COVID.
Yeah.
Especially being working where I work when COVID happened. If you traveled out of state,
oh yeah, being in healthcare,
you had to.
It was a nightmare.
You came back and you would have to quarantine for 14 days.
Yeah,
and you had to use your own time to quarantine.
Yeah,
at least that's how I understood it. So traveling then didn't make sense. So once we could travel again, we were like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna go. We're gonna go. We're gonna have a good time, and fuck it." And there are plenty of people who like to take little pot shots at you when you travel more than they do, and they want to travel as much as
jealous.
you do.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like, you know what? I'm going to go on another fucking flight just because you said some shit.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like we're traveling all over the world. We're staying on the East Coast here.
Yeah.
But we still like to go. But there's something about staycationing, especially when you just have some time sitting in the house.
Yeah, you can just chill out.
Doing whatever the fuck you want. There's just something about it that is unmatched.
Yeah, I mean...
Go to Japan, sure. Go to Colorado, sure, Koki. He's going to come one of these days.
I am.
But also, staycationing is the recharge that you need.
Yeah, because that's like... The plan originally was for me to go, like, literally the next day. Was to leave, and then I realized I had already promised Kat that I would go for Mikey's birthday, so I was like, okay. And then, like I said, all the air quality stuff was already going on, and I was like, I didn't want to have to, like, leave, during that, especially even on, like, a Sunday.
And like you said, there were a lot of flights getting canceled, so there's no guarantee that the flight you were on
That's what I'm saying.
The
last thing I want is for me to, like, my first, like, alone traveling to be like so fucking like, screwed
Fucked up.
up and complex to be like, oh my,
Yeah.
Because like I hate that kind of stuff. Like I just want things to be simple. Like I just want to be able to show up, get on, go. Like I don't want any like you get delayed or like you're landing somewhere else and you have downtime. I just want to be able to do what I need to do.
I think it was the last time we were flying home from West Palm Beach, flying back to JFK. And we walk into the airport, get through security, go to the bathroom, come out, look at the departures. We're on time. We take 3 steps, what felt like 3 steps, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of people got tornado alerts on their iPhones. And then, bam, our flight was delayed 3 hours. And we were just like, what the fuck,
Tornado
man?
for where? Like down
There was
south?
a tornado touchdown in Palm Beach County.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, Florida's always getting like fucking shitty weather.
tornadoes are not common down there. So the fact that they're like 3 tornadoes touched down in a matter of 15 minutes, it was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Florida really is just like this insane, like Wild West kind of place with weather and everything else.
The craziest part about this is we sit down, we're waiting for our flight, and we're like, all right, we're delayed, whatever. We've had times where, we flew out of Orlando once, our flight was delayed 10 hours. So 3 hours I can do. I did 10, as much as I want to lose my fucking mind when that happened. And at one point, I look at Kim, I'm like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, come back, and she's like, we have to go to the help desk. And I was like, what happened? And she was like, I don't know. They just paged people on this flight, have to go to the help desk. We went there. They move us.
That's never a good sign.
They move us to an earlier flight.
Oh, well.
Well, compared to the our delayed flight, right?
Okay.
So they move us to a flight which was going to take off like, I don't know, 10 minutes before the original time of our flight.
Uh-huh.
So then we board. We still get seats next to each other, which we had already thought wasn't going to happen. And then our original flight boarded like 15 minutes after us. They moved them back up.
So it was all this...
Hold on. It wasn't. So we're getting ready to take off. All of a sudden, someone because we were sitting, I think we were in B and C, middle and aisle.
Okay.
I usually like to sit window, but Kim hates sitting in the middle seat, so usually I'll sit middle and she'll sit aisle, or we'll both sit aisle.
Yeah.
Just, get up, go to the bathroom, whatever.
Yeah, it's convenient
It's
for that, right?
convenient.
It's just so much easier than having to worry about the trek, right? Being like, all right, you got to get up, guy. Get up, move.
So someone, they were either in the row behind us, next to us, I don't fucking remember, was like, hey, my husband, he's sitting right here.
Like taste the citrus on that burp. Sorry.
You're welcome. She was like, my husband, who was like sitting behind me. She was like, this is his seat number, but this is not his name on the boarding pass. So he was given the wrong board. He was given the right seat, wrong name, and they were like, for some reason, the flight attendants were like, who is this guy? And they're like, we don't know who the fuck this name is
John
on the
Smith.
boarding pass. And I looked at Kim and I was like, we might be here a little bit. One, they have to figure out where this other guy is and what flight he's supposed to be on. And two, they got to figure out who this guy is.
Yeah.
Even though he has ID, right? They have to get him an appropriate boarding pass.
That's so annoying.
So then they somehow figure that out in 5 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing.
I don't know how they did it. They might have just been like, you know what?
They probably just made
it
some
is
shit
what
up.
it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes in those jobs you're just like, you know what?
And then we take off maybe 10 minutes after we were supposed to. Now remember, our original flight was boarding. Our original flight sat on the tarmac for an hour and a half before they took off, but they boarded them. And I listen, never worked in the airline industry, so I don't know how any of that shit works. And I know it's a lot of like weather and is the flight path going to be free and all that. Like there's a lot to it, but there's no worse thing than boarding a plane and just sitting on the fucking tarmac waiting to fucking take off. And it's terrible. So I was so happy it wasn't me. Because I was just
I
looking
feel
at
you,
them.
dude.
The whole flight, I just kept Googling, flight whatever. I don't remember the flight number.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they're still sitting in at Orlando. Or West Palm, I'm sorry. Still sitting at West Palm. Oh, and by the way, for anybody who flies JetBlue, if your TV doesn't work, you can complain about it, and they will give you a $15 credit towards your next flight.
That's cool.
It's in the passenger bill of rights. So anytime your TV doesn't work, all you have to do is do the customer chat on the app and go, hey, my TV didn't work. Here's my name. This is my
I
confirmation
assume that
number.
unfortunately that happened to you.
Both flights.
Wow.
To and from the last time I flew. The first time, my TV didn't even turn on.
Mine
And the 9 rows in front of me, none of our TVs worked. So I was annoyed at other stuff that day, so I complained. And they were like, oh, customer bill of rights, you get $15. And then our flight back, I know I keep cutting you off, and I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. I'll get to my point.
On the flight back, the TV at least turned on, but you couldn't watch anything.
How often do you think that happens? Because I feel like the odds of you getting 2 TVs that don't work within the same trip, right, is
what
are the odds of that? What's the percentage?
I don't know.
It can't be 50.
3 days apart. 3 days apart. It was a Wednesday and a Saturday. Or 4 days, whatever.
Did you sit in the same seat?
No, different planes. The craziest thing is there was one time we flew on a plane that was so old our TV smashed the goddamn mic stand.
And it knocked over one of the empty cans.
Somehow.
I don't even know how that happened.
If I touch this, but somehow mine didn't fall off. I don't know.
Thank God.
I sat on a plane where my TV was literally like this big. Like it was 3.5 inches. But that fucking TV worked.
Hey, man, I don't know.
And on the brand new fucking planes with all the fancy ass shit, those TVs didn't work.
All I could say is the few times that I have flown, it's been a simple experience, pre-COVID, granted, but, it's just both bachelor parties, actually, I think was the.
So what's interesting is those flights were no issue.
Right?
And that was
nothing.
Miami and Vegas.
It was so easy. Couldn't be more chill.
Even for the Vegas bachelor party, I flew to Vegas from San Diego, and my flight to San Diego, no issue. My flight to Vegas from San Diego, no issue, as well as the flight home.
I would go back to Vegas. Me and Omar have been talking about it.
Well, I had gone 3 years in a row at that point, unplanned 3 years in a row, and it was fun, but I might go back in a decade or something.
Yeah. Vegas was fun. I'd like to catch a Golden Knights game like Omar did. And it's funny, though, because, of course, Omar would go to Vegas with Poppy this year and catch, a Golden Knights game, and they won the Stanley Cup this year.
I know.
So it's a lot of people are bandwagon fans to the point where it's oh, yeah, you fucking just like them because they were going to go far. They were doing good in the playoffs or whatever. But, Omar's been a fan of them pretty much since their inception.
Day one.
Yeah, day one guy has a jersey, and that's only because, he went recently. But, he's always been following the Knights. So it's if there's anybody who's questioning whether he's a real fan or not, he is a real fan.
You know what's crazy is me and Kim were in Vegas the weekend of their first home game. And
I wish we had gone.
We didn't know that. Well, of course she didn't know. She doesn't give a shit about sports.
Yeah.
But I wasn't paying attention. And I guess hockey starts in October, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So we were there.
The first week, I think, usually, or something like that.
We were there, and we were at a bar. We were at a bar called the Yard House, and I got a Budweiser, and they gave it to me in a glass that was this big, though this much of it was this thin. So it was super thin and then opened up at the top.
Oh, okay.
And,
I was going to say, I'm my God, that's a lot of alcohol.
No,
Vegas
significantly less.
Vegas lives differently.
They do. But we were there, and, it's a sports bar. So we were watching TV, and they were like, oh, first game's tonight. And I was like, let me just see if there's any tickets for sale. Sold out. Of course.
Makes sense.
Their first game
and they're also just so good. I mean,
That
but you wouldn't
too.
have known
But
that
at the time, you didn't know they were good. But
Yeah.
they had a great season that season.
Yeah, every season
But-
pretty much has been great for them.
I can say since after COVID, flying is more difficult. The airline industry also has, from what I hear, staffing issues. At least
I
they
wouldn't doubt
did.
it. It's probably like
right?
everywhere, to be honest. but-
everywhere.
right?
But we were on a flight from Nashville back to JFK, and our flight in Nashville got delayed like 4 hours or something. And I think we had already boarded, or we were about to board, and then the flight got delayed. And one of the JetBlue workers came on and grabbed the phone and was like, I want everyone to know that this is the FAA's decision. It is not JetBlue's fault. It is the FAA's decision.
That's the typical.
Which is
I don't wanna
like,
be blamed
that's
for
the
anything.
it's fucking JetBlue's fault. Don't
Yeah.
tell me it's the FAA. And then they were like, there's thunderstorms. I call my parents, and I was like, do you guys have thunderstorms at home? They were like, no, it's just cloudy. We're not expecting any rain. There were thunderstorms in between Nashville and New York. It's
And
like,
they
we're
were like,
on
yeah,
a
you
plane.
guys
You can't
can't
fly
fly.
over that shit.
you can't.
Which
go
I
through that.
don't know if they can or not, truthfully.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be fucking frightening as shit probably to be like driving through that in a plane, right?
I wouldn't know.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm one of those people that loves to watch thunderstorms, but safely from the ground. Like, I would definitely not want to be up in a giant metal tube in the sky. That's for you, Brian.
There you go.
Flying in a plane while there's fucking lightning and thunder and shit going on. I mean, obviously thunder is just whatever, but
Turbulence, or rough air, as they like to say now, never bothered me.
yeah, I haven't really had to experience it too much. So like,
I was on a
Thank
flight.
God.
Yeah, I mean, it is, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
yeah,
But I remember I was probably 12. We were on a flight home from Vegas, of course, my family. And
it all comes back to Vegas.
at the time, back then, you only had travel agents, right? You
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
book from a fucking app or whatever. So somehow we got tickets, and I was in a window seat. My mom was in the aisle seat in the next row. Well, the same row, but on the other side. My dad was in front of me, and my sister was in front of my mom. And we had a pretty turbulent flight, apparently, but I just pulled down my tray and fell asleep until
Nice.
a flight attendant woke me up because the turbulence was so bad that I had
Put
to
on your oxygen mask.
I had
No,
to
just
put up the tray, and then I fell back to sleep because who the fuck cares? And I only remember that flight because assholes clapped at the end, and I
Oh.
fucking hate people that clap.
You know, it's funny you say that because like before you even started saying that, I was gonna be like, yeah, and I'm not one of those people who claps.
I
even
don't
though
clap.
even though I don't fly that much, I'm never gonna be there just like, oh my god, thank you, we made it. Oh.
Right? Why are you gonna fucking clap?
I mean, I'm glad I fucking made it, but I don't need to make it known to everybody that it's some miracle.
I don't know. Either way, travel and have a good time.
Yeah, we really went on a rant there, and this is all unplanned, by the way. We literally come into here every podcast with like no real plan.
The funny thing is, before this, you were like, "Hey, what do you
like,
want to
wanna
talk about?"
We haven't talked about
and
like
I
anything.
told you the few things I was going to discuss, and I talked about one or two of them very short, and then
Yeah.
we went on this tangent
Tangent.
about traveling.
It's great though. It's just I mean, if I'm quoting The Office here, we're just freeballing it out there. It's 18 hundo.
18 hundo.
Just freeballing it.
But a long story short, I hate going to the fucking doctor.
Is that where we started that tangent from?
I don't know.
My God.
But I fucking hate going to the doctor.
But seriously, go get your physical. Go get checked out.
I'm gonna.
It is very important.
I made sure to do it so my doctor, which I just learned today, I guess that might be a new Optum thing because Optum was bought by, no, Pro Health was bought by Optum.
Okay.
I made the appointment, and they were like, "Oh, you have to get your blood work done before you come here." So I made it so that
That's weird because I feel like usually you have
At
to get
the
like
at the
you
visit,
have to
right?
get like a what is it? I'm forgetting the word. Like not a prescription, but like
an order.
like an order, I guess. Sent
So
from a
I'm
doctor
gonna
for blood work, right?
because I'm going to the lab at the office, I won't need it. However, if I was going somewhere else, they were gonna have to send a prescription.
Okay.
But I made it so that I'm gonna go get my blood work drawn on a Thursday morning, so we won't be drinking any beer and podcasting before the blood work.
Yeah, definitely
and I'm doing
not.
my physical
Yeah.
on a Thursday morning. So I'll be in tip-top
Yeah,
shape.
not unless we're doing a podcast where we're drinking water.
Yeah. So July, more
is vodka.
other than the first week in July, which is July 4th, not gonna do much drinking
Fair enough.
because
Fair
I
enough.
don't need to go in and him be like, "You got a fatty liver, you fat ass." Because the last time I was there, I weighed 206 pounds, and he was like, "Hey, so did you drink before you came here?" That after he looked at my blood work, that's what he said, and I was like, "No," which was a lie, of course. And he was like, "All right, you must have a fatty liver since you're overweight." And I was like, "Okay." I'm 6 feet tall. I'm 206 pounds. But he was like, "Yeah, fatty liver because you're overweight." So now I know, got to cut down on the drinking. Not that I drink too much, but
I
you
feel
know.
you. I feel you.
I'll
Moderation.
only drink at the podcast, and if I have a bad day at work.
Every day. Just like everybody else out there in the
There's
world.
something
Cheers.
about having the at-home from work beer.
Right? Cheers. As Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, drink for the working man.
He was also like 6'4", 235.
Oh, yeah, that guy's a
muscle.
beast. Yeah, he's a monster.
I'm 6 foot, 200 pounds of considerable amount of flab.
And I'm 5'6" of a whole lot of nothing. But here I am. Cheers, y'all.
Drink that weight.
Right?
So we're about 52 minutes in.
Yeah.
Ish, depending on how much of the beginning we decide to cut.
Probably not much.
Probably not.
We haven't
don't.
really cut too much, but I don't think I've talked about like anything other than my
Is there
vacation.
anything that you want to talk about?
I mean, there's really nothing that's like super important to talk about, right? But it's just like I've been obviously like just bullshitting, playing video games and like watching shows since I've been, on vacation. So let's see I've been playing The Outer Worlds, which is pretty fun. It's like not open world, but it is kind of like linear, but there is a little bit of like exploration you could do, but you have to like go to like a specific planet in order to do it. But it's basically like a game where you get woken up from like a cryogenic like sleep, right? You're like a colony survivor, and this mad scientist like
this kind of sounds like Demolition Man.
I mean, kind of. Like, just imagine, like, it is like that in a way, except
They
there's
get woken up from a cryogenic ship.
except there's no like one specific villain like Wesley Snipes in it. It's
Yeah.
You get woken up by a mad scientist, and then the whole purpose of the game is like he's basically asking you to like help him save the rest of the colonists that have just been like left out in space to like basically die. You don't really find that out until like a little while on into the game, but you're pretty much led to assume that. So then, it's kind of one of those games where like it's kind of like Fallout, where it's like an RPG. You have to like put stats into like dialogue or like melee, like ranged weapons. So it's very in depth. Obviously, if you've played Fallout or like any kind of RPG, you would know. But that's the basic premise of it. And I've played probably like, I don't know, 30 hours already in the game. Bought the DLCs, the 2 DLCs, so I'm working on those now because you can't play the DLCs after you beat the game. And the game lets you know, like, oh, you're going into the last mission, like, you can't fucking play these afterwards. So, like, that's what I'm on right now. So, like,
like Dying Light.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Yeah.
like Dying Light, and there's other games, too, but...
Well, that's the only one I know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot of fun. You could play the game in so many different ways, just like you can in Fallout and all these different kind of stuff. You could be like, not combat oriented at all. You could just be pure like dialogue and like solve everything with that. And there's a lot of dialogue in the game. You don't have to experience it all. That's only like if you really want to. Like, you could, like, every character has like an individual story and like a ton of stuff that you could pick the options to like dive down further into that, or you could just be like, okay, bye, like let's just give me the mission and like let's go. Which, if I know you, Dill, that's probably more along the lines of like what you would be, what you'd be interested in.
It depends. It depends. If it's something that I'm not interested in, I'm just skipping it.
Yeah.
And even if it's pertinent to what I'm
it's
like
not,
the next mission, I'll figure it out as I go.
Yeah, like for those kind of games, like especially these ones, like Obsidian kind of like specializes, I feel like, in very like dialogue and like detail oriented games. So like you could play the whole game doing everything like really well with just dialogue and not fighting at all, but you could play the game also with no dialogue and just like fighting and killing everybody that you meet. You know what I mean? So it's like it all. That's what's cool about those kind of games, and what kind of draws me to them is like you could play the game really however you want with like some consequences, but also none at the same time. So it's like I've sunk a fucking ton of time into the game, and I've really been enjoying it. It reminds me of Fallout. It reminds me of Mass Effect. Like all these different games where you get companions to follow you through the game. And, like, you could make the companions, like, the people that fight for you. So you could make them one-shot people for you and never have to worry about fighting. Or you can
they die?
They can get downed, but they never, like, fully die. So it's like after you, win a fight, like a firefight, they'll just automatically res.
Okay.
So they'll never really die. But you also have the option to, like, not take them with you at all. You could be like, oh, yeah, like, I'm not interested in having you, like, join my ship as, like, part of my crew. And just go the game yourself. And you could get perks that give you benefits for not having people to make you stronger for not having people.
Is it possible for you as the player to add a person that in the end takes away? Like, can someone have a negative impact on your crew?
Not really. I mean, like, I guess it depends on your play style. Like, if the only way it would be negative, I guess, is if like you put somebody that doesn't really mesh with your play style. But you could really, like I said, you could build it. Pretty much
that's not
right.
See, I don't know if I would view that as a negative. Maybe just not a style fit.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what I meant was if you add somebody and they end up like
suck.
Or like they screw you over because you didn't read them as a good person or something.
That would
or
be,
a bad person.
I don't think they've ever done that in one of these kind of style games. But that
new idea. For
all
you developers that listen to this podcast.
So, yeah, right. That is an interesting concept, though. Like, I don't think I've ever even considered that as like a thing.
I just considered it about a minute ago.
They've had stuff like that in Mass Effect where you can have to kill your companion because you do, like, after a while you get what's like their loyalty, like, companion quest. So, like, once you've used them for a while, they're like, they give you a specific quest just for them. Like, oh, like, I want to go to my planet because all my people were murdered and I need to, like, find this person that betrayed our clan or something like that, And, like, you might have to pick, like, whether to, go and kill this person and then destroy, like, a cure for your people. And for people who know what I'm talking about, I'm almost specifically talking about Mass Effect right now. And depending on what you choose, like, this person could potentially turn on you because you chose to do something else over what they wanted, and you have to kill them. And then for the rest of the series, they're just dead. And you can never use them again. So, like, there's, I love games like that where it's like you have very specific consequences to your actions. And for Mass Effect, for The Outer Worlds, that's not really the case, but there are certain things that you can do though that are could negatively impact your playthrough. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing that a ton, so like that's really what I've been sinking all my time into, other than Call of Duty, which I'll save that for a separate fucking podcast because I could talk about that all fucking podcast long.
Well, that actually made me think about the ending of the last Gears of War,
Yeah, you get some choices to make.
where
right?
you had to make a choice where you were losing a main character.
Yeah.
I mean, how long has the game been out? It's been out for a few years
Gears
now.
5 has probably been, like at least.
So
I wanna say, like,
the
4
ending
years.
is you have to choose between JD and
Dell.
and Dell. So I beat that Gears twice, so I could choose
both.
one and the other.
Yeah, to see.
And basically the one you choose lives, and the one you don't choose,
Gets horribly murdered.
the enemy kills him. Right. And the enemy is what's her name's mom, right? Or grandmother or something.
I don't think you find that out until the end.
Okay. Spoilers.
Spoiler
if you're,
alert. You've had years to play it. Get
Yeah,
over
so
it.
it's your fault.
Get over it, Internet.
So I wonder, I'm patiently waiting for the 6th game to come out, because
I know,
I just remembered a couple minutes ago that I'm patiently waiting.
All this video game talking, just
Yeah.
like, hey, what happened to Gear 6?
So,
I feel you, though. I'm waiting
it's
too.
like, I wonder what the playthrough is going to be like. Does the next game you get one? Does the other one come back as...
From what I had read previously, I think like they're just gonna make it canon that JD is the one that you picked, which is kind of annoying because
I understand, but that is annoying.
it's annoying because like if the fact that they gave you the option, that means that they should make a game where you can port the save data to what your decision was, which is one of the reasons why I really like Mass Effect, because it's a 3-game series where all your choices matter and affect the story.
I also thought that's what they were going to do. Like, I took it as, if I pick Dell and JD's dead,
And I picked
then
Dell the first time.
JD's dead. I picked Dell the first time, too.
Because
And then I
JD just,
went-
even though he's Marcus's son, he just struck me as like an uninteresting character.
He also was a little annoying in the last game, from what I remember.
Yeah.
But it's like, I went
Sorry,
back
Marcus.
and Marcus. I loved Marcus.
Yeah, who doesn't, right?
But I went back and played it again, and then I picked JD just to see if the ending was any different. It's the exact same ending. It's just that you pick JD instead of Dell. But if your choice isn't going to matter in Gear 6...
That's what I heard. I mean, things could always change.
Sorry, I just hit the mic
It's all good.
with my face.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I haven't heard anything on it, and who knows when we will. I would have thought that like by now we would have heard something, even like, just the smallest little like update at any of these events.
Yeah.
They just had the Microsoft event, and the big reveal was Starfield, obviously, which is a game I'm probably going to spend a lot of time in. An embarrassing amount of time, nonetheless. Probably.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to goggle it when
Yeah, we'll goggle it.
this ends, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk any sports, so I guess we can quickly say...
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that briefly here.
Briefly, Nuggets smacked the Heat in 5. I had picked them in 5.
Yeah.
I feel validated.
I picked them in 6, but,
Not
gentlemen
wrong.
sweep.
Gentlemen sweep.
They were definitely the best team in the NBA, like, no doubt.
Vegas smacked the shit out of the Panthers.
Yeah, they really did. I was expecting more of a competitive series, but, in post-analysis, I read that, like, a lot of the players were banged up on Florida, and obviously Bobrovsky, right, didn't have a great series at all.
And losing Kachuk.
Yeah, and if you look at, his stats, which I think we've touched on in the last podcast, I might have mentioned, he was basically like 7-0 or something like that with, maybe not 7-0. I don't know what his stats were, but it was very impressive nonetheless. He was basically standing on his head like Henrik Lundqvist, who is now
in the Hall of Fame.
a Hall of Famer.
Motherfucking Hall of Famer. Let's go.
Right, who is unfortunately a part of the Charles Barkley Club, in which he never won a
greats to
championship,
never win.
but who was an absolute phenomenal player.
That's one of the downfalls of playing for the Rangers.
Yeah, unless
You're
unless
not
you
gonna
can
fucking
stop.
win a championship.
Yeah, like if you're a goalie on the Rangers, you have to be able to not let a single goal in. pretty much,
God.
in order for them to have a chance. And that's the unfortunate curse of the Rangers. But like I said, the Panthers were banged up. I also read that like Aaron Ekblad was he had like a torn oblique. He had a broken foot or something like that.
Oh,
and
so he was real fucked up.
Yeah, and like something else torn. And it just makes you think like hockey players are they're truly a different breed of athlete. Because you get to MLB players who, oh my God, like I turned the wrong way and I have a strained, whatever, and they can't play. Sorry, like we're out, a month.
Yeah.
You get basketball players who sprain their ankle and it's like, well, I have to be out for a full month, not even a week, like a full month because
hockey players are a different breed.
They are a different breed
for sure. And today, fucking the Knicks prodigy was traded to his fourth fucking team in like 5 years. Kristaps to the fucking Celtics.
Yeah, for who was it you said? Marcus Smart.
I know Marcus Smart was involved. I don't know any of the other players.
Yeah,
I can look it up. But honestly, all I take from this is no one actually wants Kristaps.
Well, because ever since he got hurt, I feel like he hasn't been the same player. Like I know on Dallas, he really wasn't the person that he was on the Knicks.
No.
You would.
You know what? He had his games with the Knicks.
He was pretty great on the Knicks, honestly, and it makes you think like if he was still there with, Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett, and Derrick Rose and Jalen Brunson. I can't forget Jalen Brunson, obviously, because he's the emerging star. But
yeah,
they'd be a different team. Who knows? Maybe they would have went further because he was really great on the Knicks. But at the same time, it's like you would have never got that trade without him. So it's like I'll take Jalen Brunson all day over Porzingis.
Marcus Smart to the Grizzlies and Tyus Jones to the Wizards.
Wow, that's an interesting trade because I feel like Marcus Smart does fit in Memphis because they're a defensive.
Well, they got rid
team.
of Dylan Brooks, so I feel like that's the replacement. And
he's
better, right?
He's better
because he's great defenseman, and whatever he gives you on offense, you take. And
he can shoot.
And he can shoot. I'm just saying, like. I say that to mean you're getting him mainly for his defense.
Right.
And anything he gives you on offense, he's going to give you offense.
Yeah.
You just take as a bonus.
Maybe he gets to shine a little bit more, though, now that he's on the Grizzlies, because obviously,
Memphis
on the
is
Celtics, sending
Boston its first-round pick in Thursday's draft, which is the 25th overall, and the Warriors' top 4 protected first-round pick in 2024. All right, so there's some picks being traded. Celtics are also sending Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala to Washington as part of the deal. Danilo's still in the league?
I didn't even know he was on the Celtics.
I didn't know.
Me neither.
Where did he go after the Knicks? The Nuggets? Was he part of the Carmelo? Oh, he was part of Carmelo Anthony's trade.
He was on the Nuggets, and then I don't know if he bounced somewhere else.
I think he tore his knee up.
But he was on Atlanta, the last I heard, and that was when they beat the Knicks.
Really?
I believe. I could be wrong, and I'm sure people listening to this and watching this will probably let me know.
I just didn't know he was in the league still. But
I mean, me either. I know ever since he had gotten hurt, once you get like an ACL tear or MCL, it's, it makes you very...
Especially when you're a jump shooter.
Questionable, yeah, which is why, D-Rose kind of is... I mean, he's older now, so he's riding the bench for the Knicks.
But the explosiveness went away after the ACL.
But he made a decent comeback, I would say, for his career. Most people you would see are just, that's it,
Well, also...
Other than Willis McGahee, from football.
God, that
which,
knee injury is
look
so
that
nasty.
Up if you want to see something
I literally
grotesque.
showed someone at work that knee injury the other day.
Probably
it's
one of the
burnt
worst.
into my brain.
Yeah, like I could still see it right now talking about it.
But, what were we saying before this?
I was talking about Derrick Rose riding the bench.
Oh, yeah. So the level of explosiveness that he had pre-ACL, I'm not sure that
He
there
was
was another player that had that level of explosiveness.
He could have been one of the greatest of all time if he didn't blow out his knee.
But true. That
is
is true.
At least
no,
for
I
point
agree
guards.
with you. But what I was saying is, yes, his explosiveness diminished after the knee injury, but he was still
a solid player.
Good player.
The problem is he never had a great, consistent jump shot.
No, he always hit that,
mid-range
16-footer.
Yeah, he could hit a couple.
How far
threes.
is the top of the key? 16 feet, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right. The free throw is 10 feet.
Because he was kind of like John.
I don't.
He's kind of like what John Morant is now. John Morant is being really explosive and will drive.
Is he a bad shooter?
He's not a great shooter.
He's not a great shooter.
He's not a great shooter. I think if John Morant could expand, his range to be a more consistent 3-point shooter, that would give him even more a diversity to drive to the net and be as explosive as he wants. Because if you watch the past 2 playoffs, he basically just will throw his body, trying to dunk it or get a crazy layup, and he doesn't seem to care how he will fall.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's I think Shaq or Charles Barkley or whoever has commented and been like, you can't play like that, young man.
At some point it's going to come back.
You're taking years off your career doing that kind of stuff, and it's you can do it now, but eventually at some point you will realize you can't.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. You can't sustain that level. I mean, Jeff Hardy did it for years, and he's still doing it, but it's taking its toll.
Certainly is. Oh man. Well, we're at an hour and 11 minutes here, so I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, it seems like the right time.
But is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? We went on a really long, 35-minute tangent about traveling, which I didn't see coming.
I mean, that's fine though. I don't want to make this, too long for people, because I feel like, if I was watching it, and with today's society, I feel like most people have a hard time digesting even more than 15 minutes of video. So it's the fact that if you did listen to this point, you are a true fan. You should definitely comment, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
On this.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on all the socials. Everything will be linked in the description, because you're a trooper.
We appreciate you.
We do really appreciate you a ton. And we hope you've been drinking like we have, because it makes everything a little more fun.
Absolutely.
This has been a solid beer, by the way. I'm definitely feeling it.
I think
that might have come across in the video if you really know me.
Yeah. I think I don't know. 7 is a solid rating, but as I drank it, started feeling really good. I was like, maybe
this is dangerous.
Maybe. Oh,
Confucius say you go to jail, bad boy.
Oh my God. All right, I guess we'll just wrap it up there then, huh?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like we said, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and hit the noti bell so you never miss any future content. That's for Steve right there.
There you go, buddy.
He loves that noti bell. And I guess we're gonna wrap it up. So thank you guys so much.
Bros, Brews, and the Basement. Episode Tres
Canciones. Cheers.
We're out.
Enjoy y'all drinks. We out.
Later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.